Hey everybody, today I got a cool little inexpensive camera quadcopter. This is the YiZhan iDrone. This particular model here is the i3s model, which is a 720p 2 megapixel HD camera on the front of it. So they do make several other versions, a standard one with no camera. Then they have an altitude hold version, and then an altitude hold version that has the camera, like this one. This one's probably even better for beginners because I think it's best to not try to learn with altitude hold. So this is just a really good quadcopter. I was really pleasantly surprised at how well this flies. Now, it says iDrone, but this is YiZhan, which is a pretty popular brand that make the tarantulas and other ones like that. But they've been going to this iDrone to kind of copy off Apple. So if you see iDrone, that's just YiZhan. And that's just their new name that they're using. I had another one coming up to review where they actually say that on the box. They're telling you that's their new branding logo, I guess. It has these, these props on it, the 3-blade props. So it's sort of like a ducted fan, micro. Though it's almost, I don't know, it's even a pretty big micro. I don't know if what the exact measurements would be for going up and calling it a mini, but to me it's more of a mini quadcopter, but it might technically still fall under micro. There's just different classifications. The camera is located here in the front, and this actually shoots pretty good video. I was surprised. It's very minimal jello wobble. There's a little bitty bit. It's more of like a vibration. It doesn't really look like jello, but it looks pretty good. I was surprised by that, and it's pretty good colors and pretty good quality for such a low cost quadcopter. Now the gears here off the motors are open, so you could get debris or something in there. You can see on the bottom of mine I've got some grass in here. I was flying it and it fell to the ground. My daughter was running and she kicked it. Didn't hurt anything except for I lost this little boot off the bottom of one of the motors. But you can see these little motor pod boots, they do come off, so that's not a big deal at all. This is missing. It's more of cosmetic than anything, and maybe to protect the wires a little bit, but no problem there at all with that. Now it takes an SD card, so it doesn't use any Wi-Fi app. There's no Wi-Fi on it. The SD card goes here on the side. It does click in, and I've got a 4 gigabyte in there. It does not come with an SD card, so that's a little bit of a downer, but that's just to keep the cost of the quadcopter down. But I had plenty of these little SD cards and other toys and stuff laying around, so that's not a huge deal. They're so accessible. People have micro SD cards everywhere. It comes with this 350 milliamp per hour. Make sure that some big reviewer out there had the wrong specs on the battery. So it isn't a 450, it's a 350. So be sure of that, because 450 obviously be a longer flight time, but it'd probably be a bigger battery too. It's a 25C, of course 1S Lipo, and it uses a micro losi connector. And on the charger here that comes with it, I like this. It's just a little, looks like a USB thumb drive, and the micro losi connects here into the back. And I like that it's not a bunch of wires. Not only do they get tangled, you can't get tangled up or anything, but those wires can sometimes get shorts in them. And this is not going to get a short in it, so I like this. Just make sure you got it on a surface where you can lay the battery and plug it in. And I would not advise plugging it in and let the battery just dangle. It'd probably be okay because it's so light, but that would be one way you could create a short with it. It comes with a screwdriver's poked through the Ziploc bag, but a Phillips screwdriver and a full set of the tri-blade props. And it's got this very small, kind of unique controller, but it works pretty good. You can tell right off the bat it doesn't have altitude hold because the stick doesn't center. But I like that it doesn't for a beginner. It just takes 2 AA batteries, but this thing has surprisingly good range when I've been flying it. I've not pushed it real far, but it seems to go really well for 2 AA batteries. It has 3 speed rates: low, medium, high, or beginners, intermediate, expert. Here's this button here on the top of it. The bumper has a multi-function. On each bumper has 2 places to click, bottom and top. The top is for photos. Then the top right button to the top is for video, and then the bottom of that button is for doing your 360 flips. And the 360 flips on this quadcopter are extremely good and very tight. I'm not usually a real big fan of 360 flips, especially on any kind of filming, aerial video, or photography quad, even though this is toy class. But this one does it so well that I actually found myself doing it quite a few times because it flipped so tight. It's not sloppy. It doesn't need a lot of room to recover. It's very, very good at doing 360 flips. And I'm sure the sort of ducted fan design of this is going to help provide that extra lift, because the other ducted fans like the Furby F36, which is a lot smaller than this, though still also does very good 360 flips. So it's not that surprising. The controller also has a headless mode button right here, right below the on and off switch, and to the left is to turn the LEDs on and off. This is your pitch and your roll trim, which is fully functional. If you hold down the headless mode button, then that will do a one key return. To calibrate the gyros, it's down and to the left, which is, a lot of them are down to the right until the lights stop flashing. Oddly enough, the instruction manual says you need to be at 100% rate when you do this, but it links just fine and does it at any rate. So I don't know why it says that. It may be some sort of a misinterpretation to English or something, because the way I read it, it says you need to be at 100%, but the lights flash and it does it at any of its rates. So you don't have to be at 100% to do it. Let's see, what else? I thought there was something else, but I'm drawing a blank here. But like I said, overall, a really, really nice flyer and inexpensive, somewhere around $30. I'll include the price in the description, and there's a coupon code if it's not on sale from GearBest to drop it down more. So it's probably going to be in the upper $20 or something for this. I said it flies really well, has a good range, and very, very smooth flying quadcopter, and a very, very nice flying quadcopter. I don't see any way in instructions of how you reset headless mode. I didn't try it. It could be down to the right then, since down to the left does your gyros. So, like I said, you don't need to be in 100% rate. I don't know why. That instruction manual says that. It does just take 2 AA batteries too. The battery, the charge time on the battery is about an hour to charge this, so pretty typical for a battery of this size. So not a real long wait to charge it up. And the flight time I was getting on this is about 6 minutes on this. That was around 6 minutes, and about 30 seconds of that is the LVC. So, 6 minutes, sometimes a little bit more than 6. I've gotten up to 6.5 to 6 minutes and 45 seconds. So I just kind of try to average it out and go on the lower end, so I don't give you false expectations. But around 6 minutes, you could say 6 to 7. I'm giving you a lot of different times, I know. But 6 minutes would be a safe call on the time for this quadcopter. So overall, I really, really like it. I think it's a good little quadcopter from a good brand. It's proven. And I think this will be a good seller, because I think people will really see how well this flies and like this a lot. This is definitely a good little drone. So let's go ahead and we'll take it out now for its test flight, so you can see that and some of the sample footage. So stay tuned. I had the YiZhan iDrone i3s here bound up. One thing I've drawn a blank while ago was I wanted to discuss the LEDs. It doesn't have very bright LEDs. It has these little blue LEDs here in the eyes. It has this face look to it above the camera, which I don't know if this is going to even show up in the daytime. And a little red light on the bottom, so you can see it from up above, and it's on the bottom front, so it does help you determine orientation when you're up high. You can see the red light towards the front. There's also a green light here on the camera, and that one, I think it starts flashing or it goes red. I can't remember whenever I'm filming, because I have filmed, but I'm just drawing a blank on that. But we'll test it here in just a second when I start filming. So I want to just cover the LEDs. Like I said, they do start flashing. You get about 30-second LVC. I was getting around, like I said, 6 to 6.5 minutes flight time, including the LVC, depending on the conditions. There's 3 rates, and the yaw does increase with the rates, which is something else I didn't mention a while ago. when there's a little bit of a breeze, I'd recommend the highest rate. It does fight the wind pretty well, and the highest rate. So you definitely want the highest rate. Today, as you see that tree blowing over there, that Radford pear, there's a bit of a breeze, not too bad. Probably flying the higher rates, mostly 100, the expert or highest rate today to fight that breeze. So I'm going to go ahead and set it down, and I'm going to go ahead and calibrate the gyros. Now let's see what rate I have it on here. Now that's expert. We'll go back down to the lowest, and I'm going to go ahead and calibrate the gyros. I can see the lights flashing. I'm sure it did not show up. In fact, I may not even got it in the video, but down to the left will make the eyes flash. You do not have to be in the highest rate. I'm going to go ahead now and start recording video, and we'll see that it does go red and it flashes like I thought. So it goes from solid green to red, and it also records audio, which is kind of cool. You don't see that. You see it in some of the toys, but not all of them. So let's go ahead and take it up. It's a little bit noisy, but you know, not a big deal. There's a yaw on the medium rate, or intermediate. Now I'll show you the yaw. The yaw increases there in the expert rate. We'll go back down to the lowest rate. Yaw is pretty slow. It goes up more, and it's most noticeable in the yaw increase when you go up to the expert. Let's do a few flips here while we got plenty of battery power. See, really nice at flipping. Let's bring it down here in front of me. Really tight, really nice. Really, really nice on the flips. Like I said, this doesn't have altitude hold, so you do have to do more throttle adjustment, and it's kind of hard to find that sweet spot to get it to really hover when there's any kind of wind. And there's so many of these drones come with altitude hold. It's good to learn without altitude hold dependency, but even I will admit I'm becoming a bit so used to it that I'm doing, you know, more adjusting than I should be, because I'm so used to these altitude hold drones. They make you lazy and they don't really teach you how to fly. So I was finding myself, especially right here now and the other day, you know, more test flights of this, that I was you know, going up and down, bumping the ground a lot more, because I was not doing that throttle adjustment that's necessary, because you get kind of lazy and you're used to altitude hold. Just really smooth and really nice flyer. There's the lowest rate, and the pitch is pretty, there's not much pitch, maybe 15 degrees, I don't know. And intermediate, you get more. Like I said, the yaw increases. And then you want to go up to the highest rate, which I find to be the most fun, especially outdoors. If you're going to fly it indoors in your garage or something, you might go for the lower rates, because it's going to be maybe a little too sporty for a confined space. So overall, there's not too many negatives on it. You know, consider it has a 720 camera, and that it does record good video for such a, you know, small drone. I think the price range is very good for this. The flight time is very respectable. You know, it does 360 flips really well if you're a fan of 360 flipping. You know, the micro losi connector and the battery is very common. So very easy to find those batteries. You might even be able to find a slightly larger battery. But overall, not too many things I complain about with this. I would like to have seen maybe LEDs on the motor pods on the bottom, something a little brighter, easier to see during the day, because that LVC is kind of hard to see during bright daylight. There's quite a bit of a cross breeze here from blowing from right to left now, and you can see it kind of fighting it, especially as I was trying to roll into it. I'm going to stop recording video, make sure that we got it saved, take it up overhead here and see if I can see that the light has gone green. So that means that we've gone and turned off the camera. And it does have very good range. Like I said, I'm not going to push it real far here because I'm within my fenced area right here. So if for some reason we get caught in a breeze and come down to the ground, I'm not going to be able to walk over and grab it. So we'll keep it within the fenced area here for the review. And it's not going to be, it's impossible to see a drone of this size from very far away. It's hard enough to see the big drones. Oh, crashed into the bush. I'm not sure if I'm running low on battery there or if that was just a gust of wind, but it usually does okay in the wind. I'm gonna go over here and pick it up on the other side of my pool there. It crashed in front of that bush. We'll see if the lights are flashing. It's easy to lose track of time when you're doing these reviews. No, they look like they're solid. I'm gonna go ahead and calibrate the gyros again. After a crash, it's always a good idea. Let's make sure the battery's pushed in all the way. The battery does tend to slide a little bit on you, and that will set the craft off balance. That's possible what had happened there. I had it do that one time to me before, so it might be a good idea to put a little tape around the battery just to make it a little thicker so that it doesn't slide out of the bay. Yeah, there's a decent little bit of breeze kicking up here at times. You're probably hearing it in the microphone on my action cam. I'm gonna go ahead and catch it. That should be enough of it to show you what it can do. Good footage, I think, for a $30 quadcopter. I think it's about as good as you can expect. And it does flips really well, really smooth flyer. Overall, I like this a lot. Highly recommend it. So, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more reviews. I've got a whole bunch more, including the 4K iDrone, which I got my hands on. So, I can't wait to get that review out there for everybody because I'm super stoked about that. It's overall a really neat drone. So, everybody, thanks a lot for watching. Have a good day.
The power of the dark side.